challenging us to not make something that slots very nicely in like a playlist or a genre or a trend. The stuff that I've done that I've succeeded at that with has lasted a lot longer and has like stood the test of time. I'm Stint, I'm here with Audiopunks, and I'm gonna break down Beat a Bitch Up by Alemeda featuring Doechii. I'm originally from Canada, Vancouver, BC to be exact, and I came down to LA once I found out producing records was a real job. I kind of started making bootleg remixes and got on like blogs and Hype Machine back in the day, which somehow got me into the room with some bigger writers and artists and got me connected with like Lana Del Rey and Kesha and Demi Lovato. Also, simultaneously to getting those bigger rooms, I was developing artists such as Gallant and Sabrina Claudio. The album I did with Gallant got me my first Grammy nomination in 2017. Since then, I've kind of been leapfrogging through different genres, R&B, pop, and lately I've been working on more alternative stuff, which is kind of what I grew up playing and listening to when I was a kid. I started playing music when my best friends, got instruments at their house. He played guitar, the other one wanted to sing, so I was like, I guess I'll just do drums. And then I was gonna be a pro drummer from like age 15 to like 21 or 22. I was like teaching lessons in the day, playing gigs at night, touring. I just was like a diehard like woodshedder, shredder, session player. Creatively, I liked being in the studio the most and touring the least. And then I was like, wait, my whole career path is gonna put me on the road the whole time. And I would also be making kind of like cash in hand and have no royalties and, no long-term financial plan, no long-term kind of job security, because it was really just like, gig to gig at that point. And so around that time, SoundCloud just started being a thing, bedroom producers started being a thing. And I was dabbling in electronic music just as a way to learn how to do all that. Got me started, doing bootleg remixes and just posting them on blogs and YouTube and getting recognition that way. And then that somehow kind of just like led me into, certain artists wanting to work with me for my sound, like some of the R&B stuff happening. This was back in 2015. Some of the stuff happening then, like this artist Gallant, he was on the same team as this EDM artist named Zoo. They were just like finding all these cool SoundCloud producers to pair up with this R&B artist. He's getting with like Lido and like 2-Inch Punch, all these cool names from back in the day. And I was just in the mix there. And then once I kind of started writing songs with, proper artists and not just trying to do well on Hype Machine, I realized that was where my real passion lay. Trying to kind of really perfect like the songcraft and like lyrics and melodies and trying to make things a little more timeless rather than just trying to like make sure my, stuff was like the most current sounding EDM bloggy production, But I came from a sound design background. I went to film school for like a year in the middle of that, like drumming and learning laptop music I learned sound design at a film school, Vancouver Film School. And that, I think, informed my early production and still a bit of my work today. I just love working with like the kinetic feeling of sound and transience and how things kind of feel in headphones into the ear, as well as all the obvious like, melodic information and songwriting and lyrical content. I kind of approach any project I get involved with trying to kind of provide a counterbalance to what's there already. I like being able to push things a little out of their comfort zone. I find like just trying to adapt to what someone else is has never led me to make my best stuff. I like bringing in the unexpected or just a little flavor of it to try to push someone that maybe hasn't heard this other genre, or I guess what I'm trying to say is like I'm a fan of music first, and I've like loved just being a listener to so many different genres over the course of my life that if I'm working with someone, you know, an artist in a specific genre, they may have like fallen in love with that genre so deeply that they aren't being exposed to what's happening on this whole other side of music. You know, an R&B artist may not be listening to experimental kind of ambient, you know, electronica. A metal artist may not be listening to really classic kind of Japanese like ballads from the 80s. You know, like I love having an eclectic taste and just mushing things together that maybe would be unexpected, and getting, even if you get 10% of that Japanese ballad in the metal record, that's exciting to me. I think it's going to lead you to decisions that you wouldn't normally make. Challenging us to not make something that slots very nicely in like a playlist or a genre or a trend. Because I feel like the stuff that I've done that I've succeeded at that with has lasted a lot longer and has like stood the test of time. If you just become too on the nose in specific genres and just do everything kind of like correctly, you become part of the noise, you know, like, and you get lost in time very quickly these days. You seem to know, done this before. So first off, we started just with, you know, the vocal leading into the track. I think that helps start with a lot of energy so you don't waste time with an intro. Drums coming in with like a nice kind of like rim click. I used a different kit for that. Really bring out that click. I'm going places, why don't you come? 'Cause I thought that you were serious. Yeah, I thought that you was telling the truth. I love this kind of a pre where it's just complete tension and building. Your drum groove goes away. And then a good fill into the section. I feel like classic drum fills underused these days. And a short first chorus. That's a tough trick to pull off. I usually like to stay in choruses longer than that, but we wanted to get into Doechii as quickly as we could, and I think it's such a repetitive kind of hook. You kind of just want to only stay in things just before you're going to get sick of them, and then keep it moving. So the cool thing about Doechii's verse is it's kind of got two halves to it that almost feel like different artists. The first half, she stays with a more kind of melodic singing approach to kind of match Alemeda. I actually kind of feel like it leads from Alemeda's tone nicely into Doechii's kind of, you know, rap approach, because like if you just went straight to rap, it might be a little abrupt feeling. This is a lot more of a kind of graceful transition. It also showcases her versatility. Love that. You take me out of my element just for me to do things you never did. Die for me or die with that other bitch you pick. Through a nice little, this is like the nerdy shit I love doing, effects, little radio filter kind of noise. I had a one splice sample that just gave me a little bit of that fuzz. And dialing in, and then I used a Magnetic Ohm 1. It's some dude that freaking turns an old Walkman into what essentially works like a Mellotron, and you play tape loops on it, control the pitch by varying the speed of the tape. Freaking love that thing. And I love making weird noises with it. It's great for transitions. So this is the noise I made with this thing. Kind of does pitch jumps and glides. So I almost kind of created like what a guitar feedback into an amp would feel like with that thing. So it's happening a bit there, halfway through. This is Doechii's rap. sneak that noise in behind her here. Creeps in like feedback. And then this is our second pre. I thought the momentum was so, you know, driving from the top of the song up to that point. The stops here really help switch up the feel, even though melodically and lyrically it's the same thing in the pre. Kind of picking new shots. Same fill. Oh wait, no, I'm lying. There's a different fill. Still a drum fill. In this chorus, we also introduced those gang vocals of Beat a Bitch Up. Fill that space. Also an extra harmony on the lead.
Cause I really would, I really would.
It really helps. Then we got our bridge.
Anything for you if you give
which is a great switch up. I think that synth kind of gives us a little more motion. Back off on the Springboard.
I really would beat a bitch up. 'Cause I really would.
So again, that kind of re-intro into the chorus. We use the kind of dropout to help this to transition. If we'd just gone straight into the chorus full on after such a loud wall of sound kind of bridge, I don't think the chorus would hit as hard, but you don't want to waste any more time with another pre or re-intro, so you kind of do what I call like a fakey chorus. It did not invent that, where you do the first kind of line of the hook under almost nothing and then come back in with the full track.
I really would beat a bitch up. 'Cause I really would. I really would beat a bitch up. 'Cause I really would beat a bitch up. 'Cause I really would beat a bitch up.
Pretty quick ending. We just do a little, you know, smashy turnaround. I mean, just like smash everything on the quarter notes and hope for the best. I feel like it's fun to just get as you know, what I would do in like a high school band, like to just like create more dynamics without adding more elements, just smash it, you know, everything on one. And I kind of like the hyper edited feel of it too. It kind of helps it feel a little more modern or hyper poppy. What I'd be curious to do is try one of these freaking Audiopunk plugins.
Done this before. Where is the love?
Let me play around a bit with those.
I couldn't let go, felt in my soul, this is the one. Yeah, you see me naked, know all my faces. Last night I got so fucked up. Keep hearing you say that I'm going places, why don't you come? Ooh, done this before, where is the love? I couldn't let go, felt in my soul, this is the one. Yeah, you see me naked, know all my faces.
I'm going for a bit of a little extra slap on this, which I kind of like.
Naked, know all my faces. Last night I got so fucked up. Keep hearing you say that I'm going places. Why don't you come?
It's like immediately like doing this cool vintage thing to it. I really like it.
You seem to know, done this before.
Sounds like a freaking doo-wop record or some shit.
You seem to know, done this before. Where is the love?
That's fun.
I couldn't let go, felt in my soul, this is the one. Yeah, you see me naked, know all my faces. Last night I got so fucked up. Keep hearing you say that I'm going places. Why don't you come?
That's sick. It's subtle, but it's sick. I like it a lot. I mean, the fun thing about this is like, if I like any of this stuff, as we're doing this little insight, I can just print it and send it to Mix.
You take me out of my element just for me to do things you.
Sick.
You take me out of my element just for me to do things.
Okay, what about the complimenter?
You take me out of my element just for me to do things you never did. Die for me or die with that other bitch. You pick. You take me out of my element.
This is crazy.
You take me out of my element just.
So I'm compressing it with this, what's the Spectra 610 complimenter. I'm running that on Doechii's mix bus or vocal bus.
You take me out of my.
I'm gonna go too far and then I'm gonna pull it back. I'm kind of curious.
You take me out of my element just for me to do things you never did. Die for me or die with that other bitch. You pick. Cause I'm way too fucked up for you. I'll beat that bitch up at you. Toe tag in the trunk for you. I'll be way too drunk with you. But it's fine with me, long as you spending your time on me. Don't put my hand on that Bible, please.
Cool.
Take me out of my element just for me to do things.
Yeah, you can feel the pump in this, so I would definitely like parallel this, like do 50-50 or something. I'm curious.
Take me out of my element just for me to do things you never did. Die for me or die.
I think I might like the modern better for this.
Take me out of my element just for me to do things you never did. Die for me or die with that other bitch. You pick. Cause I'm way too fucked up for you. I'll beat that bitch up at you. Toe tag in the trunk for you. I'll be way too drunk with you. But it's fine with me, long as
Yeah, like on little moments like that with
in
a,
the trunk for you. I'll be way too drunk with you. But it's
like listen to how much those like backgrounds poke out in a good way. This is without it.
toe tag in the trunk for you. I'll be way too drunk with you. But it's
And then they come so much more alive.
toe tag in
With
the
it on.
trunk for you. I'll be way too drunk with you. But it's fine with me, long as you.
These little guys right here. I think that really helps. That's sick.
Toe tag in the trunk for you. I'll be way too drunk with you. But it's fine with me, long as you spending your time on me. Don't put my hand on that Bible, please. I thought that you were serious. Yeah, I thought that you was telling the truth.
And then obviously that decay is gonna get brought out a little bit, right? Just from the volume boost of anything. Oh, it's so fun. I love that. This track was super fun to work on. I got kind of a rough demo and we re-recorded all the vocals, pretty much replayed all the instruments. We were just talking about drums actually before the cameras were rolling. I love this SPD. It's a drum pad, usually used for live players, and I've kind of taken a liking to playing in drum parts on it, just feeding MIDI to the computer into, you know, drum VSTs. My go-to for like a really classic rock radio live sound is the Steven Slate drums. That's that core kit. Also sped up. But, because I wanted obviously this song to feel a little more like a pop record and larger than life, we're layering a ton. So there's also a tempo kind of adds more of a punchy, fat drum sound that I think balances out the live kind of roominess of the other one a lot better. That's my live kit with all the other samples as well. Got a little bit of clipping from Decapitator. All the bells and whistles have been pulled out. But I mean, let's zoom out a bit. This is the chorus of this song. I'll play a little leading into it.
If I bitches for you, 'cause I really would be the bitch up. 'Cause I really
I played an acoustic guitar. Yeah, I mean, you get the picture. I'm seeing here, just based on the inputs that are still left on the track, I double tracked that acoustic with an SM7. I think I just wanted a pretty direct raw sound. I sometimes do acoustics with an old pair of Coles that I love, but that's when I'm looking for a little bit more of a nuanced, like, natural performance. So we got our acoustics. We've got a nice rock organ. I'm trying to see where that came from. Looks like I ran it through Guitar Rig for a rotator. This is without it. I would have used my Mellotron and like pulled up 2 different organ patches and had a different one on the left and different one on the right. And then with the rotator, kind of giving it more of that Leslie quick rotation. Got a sub layer, as always. That is the MS-20 Korg. Nice fat, slow sub. And then a nice kind of metally, alty live bass take. So we got all those. Oh, and electric lead. For all my amp sims, the Mesa Boogie modeler they have with the preset Chemical Burn. And I bet you, oh no, that's just straight up. No, I didn't run it through pedals first. So that's all them working together. The only last little bit of spice I like to add is kind of noisy ass pad layer. Which is a fucking splice loop, which I have no shame in using, especially when it's just adding a little bit of extra depth to the sound and making it sound a little bit like larger than life. I love bringing in samples and loops and repitching them drastically. And this was pitched like five semitones down. Let's start with Alemeda's first verse. After the tuner and a light gate, just to kind of get rid of any room noise. I mean, I record all my vocals in this room, 20 by 20, kind of like open room with slightly vaulted ceilings. I just find I don't have need for a vocal booth with any of the records I'm doing, or a complete like isolated dead sound. Just a bit of a gate will usually do everything I need. I think I work on like loud enough stuff that I'm recording through a custom mic from Telefunken called the C13 that they made for my friend John Hill, and then I stole it from him. But I find running that through my 1073 clone does a lot of the work for me on a lot of pop records. It's a really good mic for pop, and it's very bright, but has a nice like low end body, and I don't need to do a lot of cleanup on it. I think it just kind of sounds good out the gate. Once I get it sounding like a nice clean pop vocal, I'm then kind of adding the rock after the fact, because then I know I'm starting with a good bass that's like doing all the compression and all the EQing I need. So I've got kind of a Pultec doing a bandpass pretty aggressively between 150 and 6K. I've got the decapitator adding a little bit of saturation and slanting the tone downward. And then Neko Boy, I just like this classic analog delay preset to add a bit of reverb, sounding reverb that's not really reverb, it's just like a light trail. So I don't have to cake stuff in reverb to kind of get it sounding wet enough. And then it looks like I'm just doing a Pro C at the end of that, maybe just to catch any of the super like light peaks. So
and place. I tie my hair and take off my hoops, 'cause I really would.
So yeah, with this section, I remember Alemeda kind of like came in and really wanted like a Paramore type moment. So we kind of really tried to hit a little bit on the nose of like these kind of classic pop punk arena bridge moves. So halftime is a must. Setting it up with a bandpass guitar, used the Neural DSP again. Much more kind of overdrive, but not high gain. Preset, double track, just to make me sound like I know how to play guitar. And then a bandpass with Ableton. I do really like the ambient layer, which I think was another kind of shoegaze splice pack sample. That guy was just a pad layer, but I love how he pops out. Gives it a little more depth.
Anything for you if you gave me a time and place. I tie my hair and take off my hoops, 'cause I really would.
So when I'm making it sound as big as possible, we like quad track guitars, I don't even know if I'm doing this right, because, I'm not a trained guitarist, but I'm running these all into one amp sim. So I hard pan two, a left and a right, and then two center. And I just kind of feel like I get more body and like, meat the playing, even if it's all running through the same amp. I don't know if I'm supposed to run 4 separate amps for that shit, but I never do. The lead. Obviously a little more verb, a little more washed out. I want that shoegaze element, so I'm kind of doing some string bends, putting the sub back in with the MS-20 and the live bass. So you got sub. And the live. Played really terribly, but as long as the attack and the energy's there, I'm such a like, I love like the high-end crunchiness of the bass and just like the body of it. I feel like I need you to feel it and not notice it in rock. But yeah, that was Beat a Bitch Up. Alemeda featuring Doechii. Fucking love this song. I can't wait for the world to hear it.